Like, comment, subscribe, and follow on Instagram.
Jeff, you want to do that? You want to start a Twitch account?
Follow on Instagram at ChefXJeff. Not really, everyone should do it right now. New followers.
You want to start it? I'll follow you.
I'll follow you guys back after my class.
Alright, Chef X Chef.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check for like next week, see if they'll follow me. Just so you know. Totally. Yeah, I'm gonna totally follow you right back. I don't care. Chef X Chef?
Yeah.
Did you spell chef with 2 F's?
No, just one.
Yeah, we have one. Sorry, Jeff was playing with it.
Yeah, we took it.
I was pulling up Michael Winslow from Police Academy.
I had to take it from him.
That movie. Wait, is that
Police Academy?
that's been around since
I'm
before.
like,
That's one of my favorite movies.
Old Soul.
Oh.
How do you know this movie? Did they remake this?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'll freestyle about it. Okay, brickets, they're delicious. You hide your nutrition in case you got the rickets. Ooh. Tiffany crabs. You can't ride crickets. Okay. So Mason, you might want to lick it. Ooh, that's how we say it.
Alright, we're gonna get started here. So let's have all the computers put away, please. And everyone has the feedback forms. Okay, there. I think there's a couple extra over here if you don't have them. All right, I'm gonna give these over to you all. So we're gonna get started in one moment here. Before I get started, is there any initial questions? All right, we're gonna have the same procedure as last time go around. The only difference being is Vincent and those at Aspire might not be on this call, and I just realized too, I'm on mute. Let me unmute myself.
So they aren't listening?
They might not be listening right now.
Okay.
They could be listening later. The reason why is they received a request and that they are doing filming with a crew on a channel out of France. So about Aspire. And so again, that's something that Vincent had to be a part of. We'll we'll take it, and I will ask questions if they don't get on the line for the groups, and we'll function as last time. So if we can get all laptops away, and we will get started shortly with our first group. Thank you much.
Taking it away? We're good to go? All right. Alrighty, so I'm Jeff McConnell. On behalf of my group, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. And speaking of my amazing group, we have Michael Corcoran, George Harris, Madison Smith, and Haley Sabol.
So to get things started, I'm just going to quickly introduce the millennial market, which is what we used as the foundation for our target market. So in the United States, there's about 80 million millennials, making it one of the largest generation populations in the United States. It also makes up about 1/3 of the total population, just about under. And it's estimated in 2020, the millennial market will have a whopping $1.4 trillion disposable income. So if Akeda is able to break into 1 to 5 minimal percent of the millennial market, that'll be a huge opportunity for them. So I'm just going to quickly run through a SWOT analysis. We decided to do a SWOT analysis because this is what we use as the foundation for our marketing strategy that Jeff and Michael will get into later. But for obvious reasons, we have strengths, which is in 2013, Aspire won the Holtz Prize, giving the company credibility and reputation. Consumers love purchasing products from companies that have reputation, and this is a huge strength of Aspire and Akeda. Another strength is they are one of the main ways that Akeda wants to move is to completely eliminate waste, which adheres to their personal company standards and the standards of their consumers. For weaknesses, I'm not going to spend much time on these. There's the obvious brand awareness and the ick factor, but we use the weaknesses to build our brand strategy later on that they'll get into. Opportunities, like I mentioned before, is the growing market. It's huge. It's about 80 million consumers in the United States. And then there's the market outside of the United States that they can get into. And another opportunity that we found interesting was it's a meat alternative. And with sustainability being a huge concern for the United States right now, it is shown that harvesting and eating crickets is a much more sustainable way to get your protein intake. And then for threats, obviously it's such a small company that they have a limited budget that, and then there's the obvious competitors that Madison will get into right now.
Thank you, Haley. So in looking at our competitors, we decided to do a competitive analysis. And in order to do that, we decided to look at price and quality as the two different factors for that. So in order to get an accurate representation for price, we decided to look at all of the products that these companies offered and figure out how much it would cost per ounce. So for quality, we decided to look at the products and the amount of protein that was in each serving. So the 5 major competitors that we have are Cricket Flowers, Cowboy Cricket, Chapul, Antonio Farms, and Chirps. Something that really sets Akeda apart from all of these other companies is that they have a very high percentage of protein per serving, has over 15 grams, and none of the other competitors have that. And when we were looking at the survey done by Mintel in meat alternatives, something that the consumers who purchase meat alternatives really focuses on is the amount of protein. So in order to get into this market with these consumers, this is huge to mention. And then something else that sets these competitors apart is that, or this company apart from its competitors, is that they offer whole crickets. And as you can see, two of your major competitors, Chipotle and Chirps, don't offer this at all. And now that we're done talking about the competitors, we're going to pass it off to George to talk about the consumers.
Thanks, Maddie. I'm going to talk about our target market a little bit. So we coined a term, the active early adopters, and this is our segment that we really want to go after and target and market Aketa towards. The age group for that we chose was 18 to 35, basically the average age of a millennial. That age group, we decided that that was the most reasonable and made the most sense for our product, because this age group, they're more volatile in what they like, and they're willing to try new products. So we're trying to market Aketa and to have it seen in a sense where it's not a insect, it's a snack. It's like you're gonna grab that instead of a bag of Lay's. We also chose them because we think that they're a little more risky than most other age groups, and they're willing to try something a little bit more controversial. Gender, Aketa is a very non-genderized product, so we chose both male and female. As for location, we thought that heavily bombarding the West Coast area, specifically California, Silicon Valley, with marketing would be the strongest course of action for us, because California is sort of a hotbed when it comes to food trends. You see things like poke bowls, ramen, and gastropubs. All three of those things are stuff you'd see in New York City, Manhattan, Times Square. Big time things now that all started in that West Coast area and were adopted by this smaller subgroup of people, and they really blazed a path for these and became trendsetters, and people looked to them. So the people we're trying to reach with our characteristics are this Silicon Valley mindset. So we're looking at people who are managing startups. They're bold. They're entrepreneurs. They are taking bike rides into beautiful California scenery on their weekends. They're hiking, doing stuff like that. So we have the earthy, the bold, techie, a little bit into the futuristic side of it. They're current. They're up to date on our world's problems. They're aware that we need things with greater sustainability. So that's why Aketa would really apply to them. They're health conscious and they're benefit driven. Because these people know so much and they have a higher, arguably, education level than most others, or they know more, they're benefit driven. They don't want a product that's empty calories or simply nothing. They want something that's gonna give them a benefit and help with that. And education has spoke on that. Because they're more educated, they want more. So you're probably thinking, why does this make sense? We found one key characteristic between Aketa's brand identity and our target market that really makes everything click. So this characteristic of boldness, like I said, these people are bold. We're not targeting your average Joe. We're targeting people who are gonna, So we're gonna take, these people, these bolder people that have the shared characteristics of boldness. Aketa's trying to change an insect, a pest, if you will, something that everyone looks at. If you saw it in a restaurant, you'd probably leave the restaurant. We're trying to take that and make it a big, large, we're trying to make it a healthy snack food, and we want people to see this as that. So we're targeting people that are more likely to try something a little bit out there, people who are gonna take the lead, take the risk. These people are also responsive to new products. We want them to be really happy to be affiliated with a niche product and be part of something. And I think that the value, when it comes down to it, we're a business, so we're looking at the value of this market. What is the value of it? Market penetration. These people, like I said, are trendsetters. People are looking at these people for new styles, new food trends, all this new tech stuff, looking towards the future. And they're all, we think that if we can sell and have this market adopt our product, that we'll see other markets latch on and follow on to that trend and really adopt our product.
So with all this in mind, we came up with a pretty interesting market strategy. So the first thing is to expand the Aspire Foods, the parent companies, their awareness and their mission statement, what they were doing with the Holt Prize, and kind of the humanitarian work that they're doing in Ghana and in Mexico. The second thing would be to further develop a brand identity for Akeda. Like we said, we want our consumers to be bold. We want them to be outgoing, try new things, but we also want people to buy into that whole idea. Next, we're going to position Akeda products based upon niche segments within our target market. So we notice there's really a nice split that we can do between our target market with the Akeda products. The first being like the granola and the protein powder for the more active and the person that's going to be more interested in the quasi-homeopathic properties of Akeda and the nutritional aspects and the natural aspect and the sustainability aspect. And the other one is to position the whole crickets with more of the techie people, the programmers, the gamers, the people want the next thing, the people that want to be part of technology. And finally, we're going to promote the normalization of entomophagy. So to develop Akeda's brand culture, we want to reward consumers by creating an active brand identity and community. It's a very polarizing product, so either like it or you hate it. Now, the people that like it, we want to reward them for liking it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an online community hosted on Akeda's website called the Akeda Leap List. And what this is going to be an open source bucket list where people can post their ideas and community members can vote on them. And eventually, when we have enough funding, we can run certain sweeps and stuff like that. But most people with bucket lists, it's usually some physical activity and some exotic destination. Scuba diving, the Great Barrier Reef, hiking Mount Everest. That really fits with the type of consumers that we want for Akeda and the type of identity that we're trying to push out. So speaking of that.
Thanks, Jeff. So like Jeff said, we're really interested in building up that brand culture and that community behind Akeda. So we figured 2 new campaigns that Akeda could launch would be through Instagram. Instagram is a great app. It's very popular now with social media, and it's a great way to reach a large audience. So the first campaign that we're going to start is a promotional giveaway to loyal community members. We're going to start doing this by having, I know Akeda has their Instagram already, but we're going to kind of revamp it up a little bit and have new product released with like a like and a follow for a chance to win new product. We think this would be a great way to really build that community and spread awareness about the product. And then the second campaign on Instagram is going to be to promote the use of the Take the Leap hashtag. The Take the Leap hashtag is really focused on that subgroup of our target market, like the active, health conscious, and show us where like your favorite Akeda product takes you and like how active it is. And then this is just a sample ad promotion for Akeda for the Take the Leap hashtag. As you can see, like Mount Everest, show us where your granola, like post a cool picture with the product, and it's really going to help the following and awareness of the product.
Okay, so the second group that we're targeting, like I said, is the techies. So we're going to connect that to space. And the inspiration behind that was Tang's success on the Mercury and Gemini missions in the 50s and 60s. So the next big thing in the next 15 years everyone's going to be hearing about is Mars. It's going to be everywhere. We're already starting to hear about it with SpaceX and Elon Musk. The next NASA mission to Mars is 2020, the Curiosity rover is going to be put there. So in trying to figure out the best way to communicate how much good exposure this would be to get associated with this, I was going to show articles or whatever, and then I found this little gem right here. So this is the Google search trends for 2 singular events that happen within the same year. The first one right here in red is the Super Bowl. This is the cream of the crop for marketers and advertisers. They pay millions of dollars for 30-second ads. This one right here is the solar eclipse that just happened. And as you can see, this far surpasses the search interest for the Super Bowl. And it's very comparable. Both of these were singular events, and before anyone says anything, this search data is only limited to the United States, which, when you're trying to understand that, you realize that that's a major, major advantage. Slide. So here's another mock-up ad. Obviously, we're playing on the Take the Leap theme again when we take it into space. As you'll see in the next slide, it takes on a whole new meaning. And again, we're promoting the whole crickets because they're the more technologically advanced or at least they seem that way, and the more premium feeling product that someone that's into tech would go after that versus kind of the brown earth tone bag or granola. And again, down here we have the Take the Leap, Take Your Leap at akeda.com. Do next slide. This is another one that we have. Obviously, this is kind of punny, but it actually kind of, if you think about it, really gets down to what Akeda and Aspire are trying to do. So we have one small bite for man, one giant leap for mankind. And it is a small bite. It's that first cricket you're putting in your mouth. You get over that ick factor, you bite down, you get flavor. You don't know, it's a new sensation, but it's not bad. And then you try another one and another one. And of course, one giant leap for mankind. This product can change mankind. One bite can change mankind. And again, it's really pushing that bold culture, that adventurous culture. And then again, we have the branding down there. Okay, so the last step is to normalize entomophagy the best that we can and within Western culture. So the first thing we're gonna do is the Akeda Challenge. Pablo Picasso once said, good artists copy, great artists steal. So we're gonna take a page out of the John Scully playbook, what he did with Pepsi-Cola and the Pepsi Challenge. We're gonna do the exact same thing with Akeda. They're gonna be public blind taste tests comparing the granola to a bare naked granola and comparing a cricket to a comparable textured snack, a wasabi pea or a sunflower seed. And the whole payoff for this is gonna be when the person says they like the Akeda product, and then they take the blindfold off and see that they just ate a cricket or something that contains cricket. And obviously this will be all filmed because that payoff will be that candid whoa moment. I would never have eaten it, but after eating it, these are really good. And we'd get more bang for our buck running that online on YouTube or maybe even a viral campaign with that than we would with an actual TV ad. So the next thing is to promote creative uses of Akeda and also just to show people how to use the product. If people see these products being used in an interesting way, they're much more likely to try them rather than just seeing the product if they see the outcomes that can come out of using the product. And to do that, we're gonna take advantage of those recipe videos that you see online. They're very, very popular right now. They're entertaining, and it would be a great way to promote them. And we're gonna revamp Akeda. They have a recipe page, but we're gonna revamp the page to include these recipes. So you would post a picture of it to an Instagram. It would have a hyperlink to it, to the Akeda page. And then it would have a video, the full video, the recipe list underneath, and then in the recipe list, the Akeda products that are used will be hyperlinked to the checkout page. So the idea is you're taking people from Instagram, drawing them into your website, which website traffic is much more valuable than likes or comments. And at the same time, you're piquing their interest and you're putting them 2 or 3 clicks away from buying your product. So we prepared a short video for you using the Akeda cricket powder. I think you guys are gonna really like it. So show of hands, how many people would try that after seeing that video? All right, that's what I thought. Unfortunately, I ate them all myself. So to wrap things up, we want to promote Akeda's unique qualities to give some people to buy into and use that to create a brand culture utilizing social media resources. We want to diversify our tactics based upon specific bifurcated niche markets within our major target market to promote the two products separately and the merits on which we can sell them separately. We want to create a community online that rewards people for buying into and being loyal to this versatile product. And lastly, we'd like to give you a vision of Akeda in 5 years. So Akeda in 5 years, we see full penetration on both the West and East Coast, moving into the middle, which we would hope we can get the Midwest sold on Akeda through farmland and through the use of Aspire's animal feed and fertilizer. We see Akeda striking potentially a strategic partnership. Maybe we see crickets being tested by NASA. I know they're already testing earthworms in Martian soil. Or maybe it's with SpaceX. Akeda at this point will be turning enough revenue that they can double down on their commitment from the Holt Prize. They can set up a not-for-profit where they can continue their work teaching farmers how to grow these crickets and how to feed themselves and their family and make money. And maybe they also create a disaster relief type reaction team. For instance, when Puerto Rico had that hurricane, they were without food, without power for a lot of days. Sorry, I don't know the number off the top of my head. But if Akeda had the resources to go in there and set up shop, teaching these people to produce crickets, it could have helped with the food shortage that they were going through. Thank you guys, and we'll field any questions if anyone's have it.
Oh, okay, so let me just turn that off for a second. Oh, wait, I have this microphone. Okay, so we don't have, unfortunately, Vincent on the line right now. Because of timing, we'll hold questions for later, and then we'll have the next group. Thank you guys so much.
So if I'm like fill in with something that's that, not just like, okay. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just so you know that I'm not like on my phone or something. Yeah.
Okay. I think we're all set, so let me.
All right, thanks.
Hello, everyone. I passed around some mock-ups of a part of our strategy that we're going to be talking about at the end, so you can pass them around and take a look at them before we get to the end of the presentation. So we'd like to welcome all of you here today, and thank you for coming to listen to our presentation. Like father, like son, like cricket, like chip, we're going to cover today how millennial fathers can give the benefits of crickets to their children. My name is Sarah Dudinsky.
Matthew Lescavage.
Katrina Elke.
Nick Calderon.
Okay, and so we're going to start out today with a quick video. This is a 4-year-old boy named Aiden, and we decided to give him a cricket for the first time and see how he would react. We're going to meet his father, Paul, later on in the presentation. He's a valuable member of our target market, and so this is Aiden trying a cricket right after he saw his dad do so. No, never mind. Sorry.
Just like your daddy.
Eat it.
Cool. Aiden, I can't believe
dry, right? Take a bite of ice cream with it.
Or why sit down with your milk?
Oh, don't do that.
Why?
Why? Go ahead, eat your ice cream. Would you eat another one? Mm-hmm. You would?
You would?
Good boy.
Okay.
It was yum.
So that's Aiden trying to cricket for the first time. And this is the reaction that we hope to get out of millennial fathers and their children. As you can see from the video, Aiden was very excited to try cricket. He did it completely voluntarily, but it was inspired by watching his dad do it and hearing everybody around him encouraging him to try cricket as well. So we're going to touch upon that when we get into our target market and what the benefits that we want to provide.
So the overview of what we're going to discuss today, it starts off with why Akeda and why crickets. The next topic is what is the issue and how can it be resolved? And then we're going to get into our target market, which is the cooking millennial father, and we're going to go through the marketing strategy of the target market. So Akeda, we obviously know Akeda is a cricket protein source, and it actually takes up 38 times less space agricultural-wise than other livestock. So cattle, sheep, pig. It's free of gluten, soy, nut, and dairy, and it's only fed with a natural organic feed other than other livestock. So it's 12% of the daily value of fiber. It's non-GMO, 9 amino acids, 40% daily value of protein. And then on the bottom right side, you can see I put a graph there of 30 grams of crickets versus 30 grams of beef, and you can see how crickets dominate in each category of protein, calcium, and iron.
As mentioned previously, our group strongly believes that the targeting of young millennial fathers, particularly cooking fathers between the ages of 18 to early 30s, would be strongly beneficial for Aspire and their various Akeda products. Today, many of the millennial fathers are looking towards raising their family on more traditional values while still looking for that adventure. Because of that, and taking their more domestic role in their family environment, they are going more towards grocery stores and purchasing more of the fresher products instead of the processed products that they normally would gravitate towards. Furthermore, they're also looking towards brands that are very loyal and promote that family environment. Because of that, they're looking more, which is shown in the chart over here, messages that are flavorful, energizing, and fun for their families to partake in.
Thank you, Katrina. So now that we've introduced you to our target market, we're going to talk about some problems that they're facing as parents. So from the survey that we found from Mintel, we found that most of these parents aren't really happy with the snacks that they're giving their kids nowadays. They feel that a lot of them are unhealthy and that they should have better options for their kids. Over here, you can see that among these same parents, 63% of them agree that snacking is one of the reasons that leads to childhood obesity, which, especially when you're talking about millennials, is something that is on the forefront of their minds in terms of feeding their children. So you might think that the obvious solution to this problem is just to give their kids better snacks, give them things that are nutritionally beneficial. But as you see from the survey of kids from ages 6 to 11, they don't really care what's in their food. 95% of them are eating things like cookies, ice cream, and potato chips. But when you get down to something with some nutritional benefits like fruit, the number drops drastically down to 77%. And then again, down when you go to nuts, it's clear that kids don't really care what's in the food. They just want something that tastes good.
So then we get into the factor of children's eating habits based on their influenced by their parents or caretakers. So eating is a biological or a behavioral aspect of life. Biological, we mean passed down through genetics with allergies or some type of disability that you wouldn't be able to eat certain foods or you're prone to eating a certain select type of food. Then we go to segment number 2, which is the early social interactions surrounding by the feeding development, eating habits, and that's pretty much a cultural thing. So as we see over in France, they eat snails as more of like an appetizer. It's pretty normal to eat insects, whereas here in America, it's not a common daily thing that we occur. And then the third segment is caregivers provide the insect or the cricket for the kids for them to continue eating that. So as we saw with Aiden ate the cricket for his first time, and he would only continue to eat the cricket if Paul, his father, continued to supply the crickets for him. And that goes into further the direct eater versus the observing eater. So Aiden was an observing eater until he ate the cricket, and then he continued to eat the cricket, which made him the direct eater.
So why do we think that millennial fathers and their kids will love Akeda products? Well, basically, as you can see from our infographic, it has all the things that parents feel good about giving their children. In each one of their servings, there's no sugar or added sugar. All the flavor varieties come in under 150 calories. They come with 11 grams of protein a serving, and they're made sustainably. Matt mentioned earlier the benefits of Akeda crickets versus other kinds of livestock, and that's something, again, that's on the minds of millennial parents more so than older parents. And along with that, they get an opportunity to educate their children and make them open to new experiences. This is a product that most likely kids have never seen before, and if they're open to trying it in the future when they're faced with something else that they're not familiar with, they might be more open-minded. And then turning to the kids side, you might not be able to read these on the picture here, but some of the flavors that Akeda comes in are Texas barbecue, salt and vinegar, sour cream and onion, and these are things that I'm sure most people here could name 4 or 5 brands that have all of those flavors in their lineup. They're popular for a reason, and it's something that kids will enjoy without having to sacrifice that healthy aspect.
Thank you, Nick. So now we're going to introduce you to a member of our target market. This is Paul. He's the father of Aiden, who we saw earlier in the presentation. He's 29 years of age. He works as an athletic instructor at a children's gym, so he interacts daily with millennial fathers who are the fathers of his students. He also has many friends who are also millennial fathers that he spends lots of time with. He is the father to a 4-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter, and he strives to raise his children on natural, healthier foods while also not sticking them to a strict diet because of finances and the risks that come with that. So this is Paul trying to cricket for the first time.
Oh my goodness, there's a cricket. Your dad's gonna eat it.
Yeah. You just let me know when.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
Okay, so as you could see from this video, Aiden was very excited to watch his dad eat a cricket, and this is overall what inspired him to try it as well. By observing his father eating it, he went ahead and directly ate it as well. And so one of the most important things that we found from this video is that when we recorded it, Paul asked if this would be posted on social media, if it would be on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. And when we asked him why he was asking that question, he said that he thinks that this is something that millennial fathers like himself would love to see on social media. It's different, it's diverse, it isn't a very typical video that you would see on the internet, not something that you would see people trying. And so he thinks that a lot of people would want to view it, especially millennial fathers. So we asked him some extra questions about who would be viewing our video, who is the millennial father, from how millennial fathers are observed in society. And so what we learned is that millennial fathers have various parenting styles, and there's typically 2 of them. One is a modern parenting style that surrounds people who want to take new initiatives in raising their children. They don't necessarily want to raise their kids the same way that they were raised. They want to try something new. And then there's the old school traditional parenting style, which has to do with people who like their morals, their values, what they were raised on, and they want their kids to be raised the same exact way. Another thing that we learned is that healthy products are expensive, but they can be worth it. So a father or a mother is more likely to spend their money on a healthy product that their child is going to consume most often. Paul used the example of applesauce. His children love to consume applesauce, so he's willing to spend the money on an organic, healthy version because they're going to be consuming it regularly. Another thing that we learned is that children are attracted to packaging. They like something that's fun and creative to open and something that they can open with their parents and be excited about. And the last thing is that fathers choose their finances over adventure. A lot of fathers these days, when we talk to Paul, he said that they want adventure, they want to step out of their comfort zone, but their finances don't allow them to do so. Their children are their priority, and that's where their money is going. So we concluded that the best way to target Akeda crickets to millennial fathers is to combine this adventure with this old school traditional food parenting, to be able to still give them the adventure that they desire at a good price, and then also to help them incorporate it into their daily lives through promotions and through being able to see it through socialization in the media. So our overall strategy is comprised of two components. One is a virtual campaign, which revolves around a social media campaign. And then the other part is a physical packaging initiative that adds on to the Akeda products and how they're delivered to your doorstep. So the social media campaign would start out with targeting millennial fathers through using a strong social media present father who has YouTube channels, Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts, Facebook, and who can be able to detail their experiences using Akeda products. And so what we were trying to go for here is starting kind of like an ice bucket challenge, having this father with a strong presence on social media record themselves eating a cricket and giving it to their children, and showing this socialization aspect, the bonding between a father and their child, and then getting that out onto social media, and then having that father go ahead and encourage other strong millennial fathers who have a strong social media presence to go ahead and use that to retweet it and expose it all to the internet, and follow that up with promo codes so that even people who aren't as strong on social media can go ahead and buy Akeda crickets as well at a lower price. And so now I'll turn it over to Katrina, who's going to talk about our packaging initiative.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, so our packaging initiative is basically going to comprise the essence of what Nick talked about in our value proposition. We want to educate our consumers as well as make them more aware of the various cricket products that Akeda has. As demonstrating, the packaging is still going to stay the same. However, it's going to have two additional components. The educational cricket booklet that is kid-friendly, not only for the kids, but also for the parents as well. And also promo codes to show that Akeda does want them to come back. They do want loyal customers, and it's going to be used preferably on assortment packages that show a variety of flavors that kids generally gravitate towards. Within the education booklet, it's going to comprise of both the adult-friendly as well as the kid-friendly stuff. You do have the basic facts about how the crickets are bred, where they come from, that's at the beginning, and then transitions over into recipes that shows that bonding experience that Sarah mentioned previously between the parent and the child, and then concludes with pictures that they can color in order to show that they understand all the different parts of the cricket, as well as through a word search. And then going back towards the promo codes and coupons, that's going to just show for future purchases that the company does want them to come back, that there are going to be used more towards the assortment packs, once again, to show the variety that Akeda does promote.
So in conclusion, we're going to show you a final video.
Oh my God.
Start him young, man.
This is unbelievable.
Aiden, I can't believe it.
So you can't really see it from the video, but after Aiden was finished with his ice cream, he requested a plate of crickets. And so they were kind of spread out, and he started popping them like candy, and you could hear the shocked reactions from everybody in the background, not understanding how he became accustomed to the cricket so quickly, which I think speaks very strongly to Akeda's flavors, their variety, and how appealing they can be to children. But even though Aiden liked the crickets, he will not be able to eat them again if his young millennial father isn't able to provide them for him. And so we think that with our strategy, we will be able to promote this for future generations so that children and their fathers can continue to share Akeda crickets. So in conclusion, we'd like to thank all of you for listening, and thank you to Dr. Moscato and for Aspire and their brand Akeda for helping us this semester.
We didn't hear any sounds coming in, so it doesn't look like, unfortunately, they're able to join us. Just quickly, I'm putting you guys on the spot about this. Why fathers? Why not parents?
We think from all of the research that we've done, it seems like fathers have been coming into the lives of their children a little bit more. We're seeing a rise in the trends that we've seen with fathers who are cooking, fathers who are coming home and shifting to more of that role of the cooking parent. They want to be involved in the in the lives of their kids and in what's going into their bodies. And I think a lot of that has to do with the rise in social media and the fact that we're seeing more commercials and more of it out there, learning about the health effects and the things that are being put in our food. So I think this transparency and being able to see more of what we're giving our kids these days has led to this rise that we've seen in the father, in the young millennial father especially, who has seen these shifts and has wanted to be more involved in what their kids are consuming and even what they're just doing in everyday life. I think they want to have more of a say.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I agree. I think along with that, we've seen a rise in just the changing of parenting roles in general. There are more fathers doing the cooking, cleaning, housekeeping, taking the kids to and from places. So I think, we've noticed a trend in cooking from research that we've done because it was more targeted, but there are lots of studies and things out there that are saying, the traditional parenting roles are not going to be so traditional for much longer. And taking this trend from the beginning, we thought was a much better approach than going more general to both parents.
Okay. Yeah, I think that you guys have some great insight into within the father and the children. You could see the positive reinforcement there that was happening. I would say that part of that movement is more that equality of roles, especially with a household. So it might, most, if not all, of your strategy can be generalized to parents of young children in general. And I think that there are some strong ways that this can really resonate with that group. So, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Do you want this on the mic? No. They'll have one.
Hey everybody, we're here to tell you about our strategic initiative for the Akeda product line. My name's Colin, this is Allie, Maggie, Raylan, and Checo.
Hello?
Hey Ray, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Are you still in the lib right now?
Yeah, why?
Craziest thing. By Campion in the parking lot, there's a food truck, an Akeda food truck. Not sure what it's about. Apparently they're selling smoothie bowls with cricket powder in them. How do you feel about it?
Is that what you've seen on the Snapchat filters? Is that what that's all about?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to see what the buzz is about. Are you down to go?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Cool.
All right, so those are the conversations we're looking to get started with our initiative. So here's our SWOT analysis. This starts off with the strengths. The crickets are fed a USDA certified organic diet. They are high in nutritional value, especially high in protein, and they're environmentally friendly. They require much less land, water, and food than other protein options. A weakness is that the ick factor of it, but we feel that consumers can eventually overcome that. And then there's some opportunities that we are presented with, and there's possible markets that we can target that we'll talk about later in the presentation, and that we can combine the crickets with other food products, which we will also talk about. Threats are larger companies that want to join this trend and start selling crickets, and then other protein options that will remain popular. So here are some of our objectives: to raise awareness and desire for the Akeda products, to get into the consumer's consideration set, establish channels for purchasing, retain customers by building loyalty, and normalize entomophagy, the consumption of insects. And some problems that we look to address are: how can we expose our target market and other possible consumers to Akeda products? How can we incorporate the Akeda products with other foods to make it an attractive option? And how can we normalize the consumption of crickets?
So it's clear that Akeda wants to target market millennials, but our job today is to teach you some of the key insights and data we found, why millennials and actually fitness gurus are a perfect target market for Akeda. So our first insight, according to Mintel, we found a report from February 2017 with about 726 users, found that majority of them are open-minded and ambitious. This is huge for Akeda. It ensures that they're targeting the right market because obviously to consume crickets, you have to overcome that ick factor, and characteristics like open-minded and ambitiousness are huge. And the fact that millennials are describing themselves that way is a really great insight. Secondly, we found another key insight is that there's a rise in healthy eating trends, and we wanted to look into that a little more. And a huge insight that we found was in a report from Intel around November 2016, 2,000 users, specifically millennials, found that social media is a good source of information on healthy eating. This means that this market is going to be going to social media for their information, and Akeda is aligning their goals with healthy eating and millennials as well. So to give you guys a visual of what we've found in our insights, this would be a target market persona for Akeda. It would be ages 18 to 29, male and female. These people will be living at home, at university, funded by their parents, but they're going to be price conscious as well because obviously they're concerned with debt, college loans. Like I said, they're going to be tech savvy, open-minded, and on the go. And that they also engage in digital marketing, concerned with healthy eating, and we're seeing a rise in want for natural ingredients as well. So our third insight is actually from this class. We found how consumers resonate and build loyalty with authoritative figures. So who better than to target millennials and fitness gurus than using authoritative figures like these 3 Instagram accounts. Here we see Gymshark exponentially growing in followers. A lot of gym goers know their brand, and they also have brand ambassadors like you could see to the right. Right here, even promoting things like whey protein is a huge opportunity for a brand like Akeda promoting their cricket powder. And as you can see, just their following, 1.8 million followers, 54.6 thousand followers, and 243,000 followers is just a great way and huge insight into some market share growth.
So I'll be speaking about our strategic initiative. So we have internal and external objectives with our food truck initiative. So internally, we want to leverage product visibility and promote taste testing. So when we leverage our product visibility, it gets the product out there and makes Akeda a more well-known brand. If we promote our taste testing, that allows consumers to try the product and wean away from that ick factor of the stigma that eating insects has. So externally, we want to become a part of the millennials and fitness gurus schedules, as well as increase end-of-the-month sales and customer retention rates. So if we become part of these schedules, it'll increase the sales that Akeda deserves and become part of the consumer's regular schedules. So what we want to do is obtain a food truck that will sell acai bowls that will include the cricket protein powder and the granola. So an acai bowl is an smoothie type bowl that's usually topped with fruit, granola, coconut shavings. It's very versatile and easily personalized. So we're gonna market this again to millennials and active individuals. So we will have these food trucks on college campuses during special events and also fitness events and fitness expos. So at the fitness expos, consumers and active individuals will be able to see that Akeda products are healthy and sustainable and provide the protein that they want. So we decided to come up with a base price of a bowl to be $7, which will be the smoothie, granola, and fruit. And then each addition, which could be the cricket protein powder, which could be mixed in with the smoothie and it'll add that extra protein, and like coconut shavings, honey, that'll be 50 cents extra. So we decided to stick with this initiative because it drives consumers towards the Akeda brand. It allows consumers to try this product in a less risk-averse setting, and also allows them to realize the different additional uses for the products.
Okay, so I will be talking about the program support. And we decided to research other companies that successfully implemented our food truck strategy, and we came across Luke's Lobster. Luke's Lobster has over 30 locations worldwide with base locations in New Jersey and New York. They have over 18,000 followers on Twitter, and they're actually very, very active on Twitter. This was an interesting find because this company has very many similarities with Akeda, in that they sell sustainable food, and also in the past there was a ick factor about lobster. So their success gives us great motivation towards teaching people that eating insects is not a bad thing. So for our consumer research, we actually used the survey that Dr. Moscato sent to our students over the course of the semester. And one of the questions in the survey was, if cricket flour does not influence a product's taste, but greatly increases its protein and iron, what percentage of cricket flour would you accept in the product? And majority of the 58 students that took the survey fell into the 21 to 50 and 71 to 100 category. And this makes us very optimistic, since we are not looking to sell the whole cricket itself, but actually the cricket powder and the granola. And also this survey shows how millennials are very open-minded when it comes to food. We also conducted 2 inside source interviews. Our first inside source was Haley. She's a 20-year-old fitness junkie, as she likes to describe herself. She fits our target market, which is millennial and active lifestyle. She told us that she frequently attends fitness events and bodybuilding competition. And she also told us that she has to follow a strict diet and a workout routine in order to stay in shape. The insights that she gave us is that fitness junkies are always constantly looking for the best source of protein, and even though they're very brand loyal, they stick to a product unless they find something that they like better. And also, she told us that the fitness world is is full of routine. Our second inside source is Lizzie. She owns a food truck called Not Your Mama's Tacos. So we obviously picked Lizzie because she's in the business herself, and she told us that the advantages of owning a food truck are that it's not as expensive as a brick and mortar restaurant would be. She can go whatever business is, so whatever the crowds are. And since she opened her food truck in 2016, she actually told us that she's able to identify 2 different types of customers: the frequents, so the people that go often and always order the same thing, and then the newbies, so people that don't go often, but they are always looking for something different.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about our specific implementation and results. So why we chose a food truck is because it's easily adaptable. So if we find that the acai bowls don't work or they aren't really successful, we can actually turn it into something else. And we know that Akeda brand is featured in cricket tacos at the Atlanta Hawks Stadium. So it's not out of our comfort zone to change it to be something like a cricket taco truck. And we chose acai bowls because they're trending right now, and they're deemed by the customers to be really healthy. And a report by Mintel showed us that a lot of millennials who are in the active lifestyle are constantly on the go. So instead of making something at home, they would rather stop by and grab it from either a store or a food truck. And then also, as you can see from this picture, acai bowls are eye candy to customers, so we know that it'll grab their attention. So with this, we came up with a Snapchat filter. As you can see here, it has both Aspire and Akeda's logos. We thought that it would be important to have both. And then our message to millennials who live the active lifestyle is to do something about it, which aligns with Aspire's vision. They have the audacity, skill, passion, ingenuity, rebelliousness, and excellence to do something about it and overcome the food insecurities that there are in the world. Human capital considerations, we suggest that Akeda has 2 additional employees, one to operate inside the truck making the bowls, and then one to operate outside of the truck promoting taste testing, and then
also motivating customers to go to Akeda's website or Aspire's website and become more familiar with the brand and see the purchase opportunities that they have. And then we also suggest that a manager or an executive oversees the logistics of the food truck. This is important because it's a startup company, so we want to make sure that anything that's going wrong, we jump on it right away and turn it into success. So the financial impact, there's costs that we have to consider, obviously. So the initial cost of the food truck and then the maintenance to keep up with it. We're also going to have to pay for the Snapchat filter, which is just a small cost. Then we have the human capital, so the 2 employees that we're looking to have with the food truck, we're going to have to pay them as well. The taste testing is going to cost us a little bit of money, but as Vincent had presented to us, that is their primary way of getting people to get over that ick factor and also to find out that they really like the product. And then the traveling expense is going to be another cost. But initially, we want to start around Texas, where the insect farm is. That way, the gas isn't as expensive. And hopefully, if this works out, we'll acquire more trucks, and then we can go other places in the United States. So to tie this all together, our food truck initiative had 3 considerations. It was price point and timing, the consumer research that we conducted, and also the industry and target best practices. And our objectives were to leverage the product visibility, so we want to make sure that people see it. We also want to promote taste testing so that they get over that ick factor, they know they like it. We want to become a part of millennials and fitness gurus' schedules. This will ensure that the retention rates go up. And then we also want to increase the end of the month sales and the customer retention rates.
So our recommendation is to decide that our initiative leveraged our skills and mapped out a plan to add value to Aspire and Akeda. And we recommend you to research, consider, and take our initiative to the next step. And we thank you for listening, and we're open for any questions.
All right, I just have a few questions for you all. So in terms of the acai bowl, and I understand that it is a very popular concept. Is there a particular brand that you would partner with?
I'll answer that. It's not really a brand as much as it is the purchase of fruit that you use. So there's only 1 or 2 brands that are really producing the acai packets. They come in either frozen packets or powder. So I guess it would be a question of the supplier of fruit you're using in general, because that fruit is in demand. But there's no specific company or brand that would stand out. I think they're all very similar.
Okay. Well, I know that acai, because of their roots and where it's from, a lot of the companies that do supply acai, that they do also have a sustainability component to them. So it would be something that a partnership could be beneficial. For example, creating a particular type of granola for them.
Well, we recommended using the specific Akeda granola as an option. So they wouldn't per se be requesting a different granola, but if they are requesting that 50 cents extra, it would be an extra bonus for Akeda to throw their own granola in there. But fruit is a great consideration of supplying as well.
Okay, so with the target market, if I'm understanding correctly, is it the fitness individuals?
We outlined that it's millennials and fitness gurus getting into their schedules. Correct.
Okay, so with the food truck idea, where exactly is this going to be on campuses, or how is this connecting to the fitness?
Okay, so we wanted to have it on college campuses during the semesters at specific fitness events per se. So when they have the Kinney Run here at St. Joe's, the Run for Autism, and other runs like that, on campus, those will be the ideal events that we're looking to get to on campus, so that we can promote the protein that's in them and hopefully go for the large crowd that comes with these runs. And then and in the off season, so when it's not school, we want to travel to fitness events and expos so that we're still with that fitness target market or segment of our target market.
Okay. And with this, how are you promoting repurchase?
So that is going along with, hopefully when we acquire more trucks, we can, like Luke's Lobster, have more base locations. But we were hoping that since fitness people, as Haley had gave us insight, are based on routine, once they try it at the food truck, they'll go online and purchase this through online when they come back on Amazon or through their website.
Also, to add on to that, within the interview, we found that these fitness gurus are very brand loyal, and what we said through our social media impact, getting a presence on fitness gurus' Instagrams is a huge way to get them coming back for more. If they're very routine-based and they see that these authoritative figures are using it throughout their routine and daily diet, it's very possible that our target market will do the same.
Okay, all right, thank you guys very much.
Yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Okay, guys, we're done with the presentations in class. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you for your hard work with us. We have some time left, and what I would really like you guys to do for this time is to fill out your course evaluations. I'll send you an email with it if you don't have it. That, and also want to let you know that to celebrate this last day of class, I have some treats for you all too. Some of them might have some cricket flour in it. Some might not, but I will offer this for you all to sample and try some. I also have the printout of the cheat sheet that is posted online, but I cannot give you a hard copy of that. Along with the course evaluation, we get your responses quite late. I'm not 100% sure, but because of that, I would really appreciate you to take a moment to fill out a quick-ish second evaluation, just to provide some ideas for improvement with the class and what you think that works and what you think that doesn't. This is a class that, because it's food marketing specific and focused, that a general consumer behavior textbook is not a great fit. So it's a lot of me working through each semester what works and what doesn't. So a lot of experimentation, but hey, we're all here to learn. So that's a piece with that. Yes? Yes, this is all of the presentations were recorded. So I will be sending you just your group, the recording of your presentations. So you will have that. I unfortunately told the morning class that information before the last group went. I might have made them a little bit too nervous, so apologized for that one. So I thank you for reminding me. I didn't want to tell you guys before you presented today, but you will have copies of, I'll send you a link to the presentation. Also, just so you know, and this is something I didn't want to tell you beforehand, but they have updated the packaging. So I will send you an image of the updated packaging. Be interesting to see what you guys think of that, how well it evolves. I also want to let you know, and I understand if you want to ding me on this. This is totally acceptable, but with my grading, or I shouldn't say grading in general, but the timeline for grading, your grades for, get this, your recipe assignments have been posted. And that, I must say, I really enjoyed reading every